Persona 5, also known as that one game that if you say anything bad about, you will have a ton of gross, stinky gamers getting pissed in your comment section. Don't worry, I'm prepared for them though. Persona 5 is one of the most highly praised games of the last decade, and for good reason. This game is great. Play as a transfer student with a criminal record and everyone hates you, your life sucks, your school sucks, and you got a mean perverted gym teacher about to expel you for accidentally falling into a world inside your cell phone where his weird, creepy fantasies come to life. Not everything sucks, because it's up to you, your talking cat, and your two best friends to take down this creep by dungeon crawling in some of the most fun gameplay I've ever seen in an RPG. The gameplay is turn-based combat, and I'm gonna be real with you, I found pretty much every turn-based combat game that I've ever played boring. But this one's pretty good. Every enemy has a weakness, and unlike that dumb Pokemon game where every weakness just does more damage, in Persona 5, hitting an enemy with their weakness not only knocks them down, but also gives you an extra turn. So instead of just shooting random attacks out, you're constantly planning out every character's move to knock down each enemy in these long stringed out attacks to get the most value out of every move. And when every enemy is knocked down, you can perform one of these beautiful all-out attacks that somehow never get old. The dungeon crawling is also legendary compared to those older Persona games. The old games are just so slow and repetitive and boring, and at the end of the day, you are just walking from one place to the next. But in Persona 5, you're hiding behind walls, jumping from light to light, jumping on people's backs, ripping their faces off. It's just so fun and addicting. The whole game is also polished with this beautiful style, from the UI design to the music, to the smoothness of everything that you do, to the character designs themselves. Everything is just such a unique style that you couldn't find anywhere else, and it makes this game automatically look and feel different from not only other Persona games, but any other game you've ever played. And when you're done fighting bad guys in the other world, you can go to the real world and pretty much do whatever you want. Go work out at the gym, hang out with your friends, play at the arcade, go fishing, play basketball, date your teacher, play Japanese chess at a church, take a bath, watch a movie, play a video game, go eat ramen. There are literally so many possibilities, and everything you do will help you when it comes to battling. All this amazing gameplay with such great characters and an engaging story about these punk teens who want to take down their teacher just makes for such an enjoyable experience. And at the end of the day, when you steal the treasure, defeat the final boss, take down that teacher, get to watch those credits roll, you think to yourself, damn, that was a pretty great game. The only problem is the game doesn't actually end there. Instead, it keeps going on, introducing more villains to defeat, more characters to your team, which, normally more of a good thing would be great, right? Well, in the case of Persona 5, the gameplay just becomes more repetitive, new characters and villains just start to become more bland and uninteresting, and everything just loses the magic that it had at the beginning. I just stopped caring about the next villain I have to defeat, and a lot of the characters I feel are just worse versions of the same archetypes from the older games. I also found that the social links, which are small stories unlocked when hanging out with the other characters, were just kinda a lot worse in this game compared to Persona 3 and 4. I found that many of them focused on other characters and the problems they had with them rather than the character who I actually wanted to learn more about. But not everything becomes boring and repetitive though. I mean, I did think Futaba's arc was pretty neat, and I quite enjoyed the casino arc and the many twists in the story that it had. But Persona 5 works best when everything is balanced. When the story's good, I want to do more gameplay to get to the story. When I do more gameplay, I get more opportunities to do stuff in the real world, like hanging out with other characters and learning more stuff about them. But when one of those gears stops turning, the whole machine breaks and the experience is ruined. The story becomes boring, so I don't care about doing more gameplay, and then when the gameplay becomes a slog, I have less of a desire to do more fun stuff in the real world. But eventually, Persona 5 does come to an end, and at the end of the day, it isn't a bad game. Nowhere near one, actually. But it's not, perfect like everyone says it is. I do have to say, I definitely enjoyed a lot of the additions that the remastered Persona 5 Royal brought. I thought Royal had actually interesting and original new characters and villains, and overall I'd say that it was better, but all it did was add more, and at its core, it's still the same game. Persona 5, at the end of the day, does get like an 8 to a 10 out of 10 on the recommendation scale. It's not perfect, but it's really good, and I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't recommend it.